It's not a comfortable process. It is not a polite conversation with the universe. It is more like being torn apart by your own soul. Everything you once believed begins to collapse. The structures that held you up start to crumble, and you begin to realize that perhaps they were never truly yours to begin with. Most people fear this collapse, so they turn back to sleep. The mind clings to the familiar, even if it's painful. It says, "At least I know who I am. At least I know where I stand." But awakening shatters that illusion. It reveals that what you called me was just a collection of borrowed thoughts, beliefs, and identities handed down by parents, culture, and time. Suddenly, you see through it all. And that's terrifying, because if you are not who you thought you were, then who are you? Most people never survive that question. They drown in it, trying to rebuild the same mask instead of seeing beyond it. When you begin to awaken, it feels like betrayal. Betrayal of your old self, betrayal of your old gods. The things that once gave you comfort, religion, success, relationships, begin to lose their meaning. You start to sense that none of these things can fill the vast space that's opening inside you. And so people panic. They call it depression, anxiety, existential crisis. But it's not sickness. It's the sacred dismantling of illusion. The spiritual path is not about gaining more peace, more love, more light. It's about losing everything that blocks your direct perception of truth. And that loss feels like death. When I say most people never survive their awakening, I don't mean their bodies perish. I mean their old selves do not allow the new to emerge. They resist, they cling, they bargain. They try to turn awakening into another achievement, another badge of pride. They want enlightenment without surrender, truth without destruction. But that's like wanting to swim without getting wet. Awakening demands everything. It will strip you of all falsehoods until only the real remains. It takes you into chaos, into the unknown, where every identity dissolves. That's why most people run back into the safety of distraction. They fill their minds with noise, work, relationships, entertainment, anything to avoid sitting with the silence that exposes the illusion of the self. But if you can stay with that silence, even for a moment, something miraculous happens. You begin to sense that behind all your fears, behind all your losses, there is something watching. And that something is you. It's not the you that worries, that plans, that strives to become spiritual. It's the pure witness, the one who sees everything yet remains untouched. The tragedy is that most people never discover this deeper awareness because they never let the old die completely. They stop halfway. They awaken enough to question everything, but not enough to trust the fall. And awakening requires the fall. You cannot awaken while still clinging to your old comforts. You must allow yourself to dissolve, like a drop of water returning to the ocean. Only then can you realize that you were never separate. This process is not poetic when you're in it. It feels like loss. Your relationships may break, your ambitions may fade. You may find yourself unable to relate to the world as you once did. You may feel isolated, misunderstood, even condemned. But that isolation is the womb of transformation. You are being reborn into a consciousness that no longer depends on validation or control. Most people, however, can't stand the in-between. They want immediate clarity, instant peace. They don't realize that awakening is not a destination. It's a continuous dying and being reborn, over and over again, endlessly. This is why the spiritual journey often begins with despair. Despair strips you bare. It leaves you with nothing to hold on to. And when you have nothing left to hold, you finally begin to see. You were the silent space in which thinking and doing appeared. This realization frightens the ego because it means its story is over. Yet in that ending, lies the most profound freedom. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer chase meaning, because you have become meaning itself, pure being, effortless and complete. But remember, awakening does not make you superior. It makes you simple. It brings you down to the earth, into the present moment, where life flows naturally without effort. The awakened man does not escape the world. He becomes one with it. He laughs, he cries, he loves, but no longer believes he is the one doing these things. Life lives through him. That's the beauty of it. But for most people, this surrender is unbearable. They want to awaken, but on their own terms. They don't realize that the only thing standing between them and awakening is the one who wants it. So the spiritual path is not about gaining control, but losing it. It's about seeing that you were never in control to begin with. The more you fight to preserve the self, the more painful awakening becomes. But once you stop resisting, the chaos becomes music. The confusion becomes clarity. You realize that the destruction of the old is not punishment, it is grace. Most people never survive awakening because they try to survive it. But awakening is not about survival, it's about surrender. And once you surrender, you don't survive as who you were. You awaken as what you've always been. The moment you surrender, the fight ends. The suffering was never caused by awakening itself, but by resistance to it. When you stop resisting, something incredible happens. The energy that was once used to maintain the illusion begins to flow freely again. Life becomes lighter, spontaneous. You stop taking your thoughts so seriously because you see them for what they are, clouds passing through the vast sky of awareness. But this stage, this freedom, comes only after the storm. Most people quit before this dawn arrives, believing the darkness means they've failed, when in truth, they were closer than ever. The modern world has made awakening sound like a luxury. People chase it as though it's a product they can buy. Courses, retreats, quick fixes. But awakening is not an experience you add to yourself. It is the falling away of the self who wants experiences. You cannot possess enlightenment because enlightenment is the end of possession. That's why the path feels cruel to the ego. It takes everything it can cling to. You may lose ambitions that once defined you, but what you gain cannot be lost again. You begin to see that everything is connected, that there is no separation between the observer and the observed. You look at a tree, and for a moment, you don't see it as an object out there. You see yourself in it, the same life expressing itself in a different form. This vision is not imagination. It is reality seen without distortion. The tragedy is that most people never glimpse this truth because they're too busy looking for it in the future. But awakening is always now. It happens in this breath, this silence, this ordinary moment that we so often overlook. Awakening is not the end of human life, it's the beginning of real living. When you realize you are not separate, your actions naturally become harmonious. Compassion arises, not as a moral duty, but as a spontaneous expression of unity. You don't try to be kind, you simply are, because you see yourself in everyone. But again, the ego can sneak back in. It will try to claim even this realization. It will say, I am enlightened. And the moment it does, it's back in the dream. Awakening is not a permanent state for the ego, it's the disappearance of it. When you find yourself lost, uncertain, or afraid during your awakening, remember this: confusion is part of the process. The seed must break before the tree can grow. The darkness is not your enemy, it's your gestation. Most people never survive their awakening because they don't trust the breaking. They think they're falling apart when they're actually falling open. What you're losing is not life, but the illusion of control over life. Once that illusion dissolves, everything you were seeking, peace, Clarity, love, reveals itself to have been here all along, patiently waiting for you to stop searching and simply see. The old you dies screaming. It fights with every breath, trying to preserve its story. It says, who will I be if I let go? But you don't need to answer that question, because the one asking it isn't real. The moment you stop feeding that voice, a deeper intelligence begins to move through you. You start to live by intuition instead of fear, by trust instead of control. And life, once chaotic and heavy, becomes a kind of dance. You don't choreograph it, you move with it. That's the rhythm of awakening. To dance with existence instead of running from it. Awakening is not a spiritual escape. It's the most radical engagement with life possible. It doesn't take you away from the world. It brings you back into it with new eyes. Even the simplest things, a drop of rain, a stranger's smile, the sound of your own breathing, become miracles because they are no longer filtered through thought. You experience them directly. This is what the mystics called seeing the world as it is. Most people are too busy thinking about life to actually live it. Awakening ends that distraction and returns you to the raw, vivid immediacy of being. Awakening does not mean life stops being painful. It means you no longer resist pain. You no longer build stories around it. You allow it to rise and fall like a wave. The enlightened person feels deeply joy, sorrow, beauty, loss, but doesn't cling to any of it. They know that everything, no matter how intense, is temporary. This understanding frees you from suffering. You stop trying to make life permanent. You let it flow. And in that flow, you discover a peace that isn't dependent on what happened. It's the peace of being aligned with the movement of life itself. The reason so few survive their awakening is because they try to understand it instead of experiencing it. The intellect can take you to the door, but it cannot walk through. You must let go of analysis, let go of labels, and step into not knowing. True awakening begins when you surrender your need to explain everything. When you can rest in mystery without fear, you become free. Because life itself is mystery, always changing, always becoming. The awakened one doesn't demand answers. He dances with the question, trusting that the rhythm of existence will reveal exactly what needs to be known. If you find yourself in the middle of awakening and it feels unbearable, know this: it's supposed to. You are shedding lifetimes of conditioning. You are dissolving illusions that have been held by humanity for centuries. The pain you feel is not personal, it's collective. You're healing the mind of the world through your own transformation. So be patient with yourself. Don't rush to be done. Awakening is not a finish line, it's a deepening. Every moment, life invites you to wake up a little more, to surrender a little more, to love a little more fully. That's the eternal unfolding. At some point, something beautiful happens. The struggle stops. Not because you've found all the answers, but because you've realized there were never any questions to begin with. The mind falls silent, and you begin to laugh, because the truth was never hidden. It was always right here, in plain sight, disguised as the ordinary. You realize that what you were searching for was the one who was searching. And in that moment, all separation vanishes. You see that the universe has never been outside you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in motion. This realization cannot be spoken. It can only be lived. When you look at the world through awakened eyes, you see beauty even in chaos, meaning even in endings. Life is no longer something happening to you, it is something happening as you. You stop asking for purpose because you have become purpose itself. Every breath, every moment is the expression of the whole. But don't make this into an idea. The moment you think you've grasped it, it slips away. Awakening is not a conclusion, it's a continuous discovery. It keeps deepening as long as you remain open to wonder. If everything is falling apart, remember, you are not being punished. You are being purified. The life you built on illusion is dying so that the truth can live through you. Don't try to save the old structure. Let it burn. Out of the ashes, something magnificent will emerge. Not a new version of you, but the end of the idea of you. And in that ending, you will find peace so vast, so complete, that the word awakening no longer even applies. There is just this infinite, silent, luminous now. They think they are losing themselves, but they are only losing their chain. The ego cannot survive truth, and that's precisely the point. What dies in awakening was never real to begin with. And what remains when all illusion falls away is life itself, vibrant, eternal, unbroken. You are that. You have always been that. The rest was only a dream. So don't fear your awakening. Fear staying asleep, because to remain, there are moments in life when words